1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome to this week's episode of the Goalies podcast. I'm Max Miller and I've got with me Luke Bleeser and Ethan Foggin from the 2023 campaign over in
Nottingham in the UK.
Nottingham. Good spot.
Great spot.
We just want to talk about your journey to the Goalies. Ethan, how did you get into Frisbee, and then how did that turn into making an Australian team?
Well, thanks for coming over, Maxie. I started playing in high school. Just socially, we had some inter-house Frisbee, and thought I was pretty handy at throwing a Frisbee, so wanted to find out what I could do with it, and Dad went and looked up. There was state tryouts over in WA, went to that, made the team, played a couple of years of under 18s, and kind of progressed from there. Was the question how we got to 24s?
Yeah, and how did you eventually, improve your game enough to go and get selected for an Australian team?
Sure, great question. There was definitely a few years there of a lot of development, just honing the skills, and I didn't really start improving kind of to the Goannas standard until it became a goal of mine to play for Australia, which was probably around 2021, which would have been a couple of years before our tryouts. Just really took more time away from team trainings and just the general Frisbee stuff to go really work on some of our own skills, hit the gym a little bit harder, do more strength and conditioning, more fitness in the legs, and kind of just built that up all the way until tryouts. Yeah.
I guess you're one of few Goannas or even Australian players from WA. How do you feel that affects your chances going into tryouts? Do you think it's they're looking at you as someone who's from WA, or do you think that maybe you're less known to them because you don't get to play in front of some of the selectors as often?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly weighs on your mind, thinking that you're probably in the minority coming from a state that isn't as well known for producing Frisbee players, or at least not as many. You kind of just have to, you do all the things the same way. You definitely think about it a lot. For me, I just trusted my planning and my process, and I always felt going in that I was good enough to make the team, and you just hope that you can execute on the day of the tryouts and that the selectors take note of that and they see you for your skill set and not from the state you're from.
Luke, you're a bit different. How do you pick up Frisbee?
Yep. Great question, Maxie. I did not start in high school. I started Frisbee at university with, I guess, a lot of other people that I've ended up playing a lot of Frisbee with down the track. Played 3 or 4 reps of the under 22 leadbeaters, so the Vic Open team, and then started playing open seasons with Chile, and kind of thought I'd really like to give this a crack and see if I could make an Oz team, and was fortunate enough to have an alright tryout and get selected on the 2023 Goannas.
You take a step from just playing casually to working on your game and trying to make an Australian team, trying to improve. Is there anyone who was a particular influence on, we'll go for you first, Ethan, that kind of made you want to take that next step?
Yeah, there were lots of influences in WA. I think a lot of them were previous Goannas. So the most recent examples I had of people I looked up to were probably the campaign before. So 2021 didn't happen, but we had 2019. And we had quite a large crop from WA. So Cobbs, Pups, Bennett, Higgins and Aiden, they really, I think, set the groundwork for us younger WA boys in the coming years to then really go like, this is possible for us to make this sort of team. And in terms of other role models, hard to go past Brucey. He's a pretty big figure over there in Perth especially, and with how much of an impact he's had on Australian Ultimate in terms of being on the Crocs. Obviously he was our coach as well, which was pretty special. Plenty of figures over there to look up to, and those are a couple.
I guess we'll move on to Luke. Best moment from the campaign, something lives in your head rent free.
Has to be the win over the Kiwis, I reckon. It was really nice battle of the Tasman, so it was good to get one over the boys from New Zealand.
Was that kind of your first win of the tournament, did it feel like it was rallying the boys, or was it the first significant win, was what you were saying?
It may have actually been our first win of the tournament. I don't remember. We didn't win a lot of games.
We might have been in China before that.
Yeah, we didn't win a lot of games at Worlds, unfortunately. But, it kind of just was like a good moment that the boys could rally around. We brought a lot of energy into that game because we kind of made it a larger-than-life battle. Like, you always want to beat the Kiwis. I think we kind of manufactured it into something that was maybe bigger than it actually was, but it felt like we needed that to get the boys up and going and get a victory on the board, which was good.
That's the way. Yeah, we just recently had our Goannas invite and fortunate enough to have that matchup against New Zealand already, and it did really feel like it kind of brought us together. It was a big target to be able to play that game, be able to play real competition that we're going to see in a couple of months' time. So
it meant so much more playing against another country, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Any good plays that we can steal from the 2023 Goannas? Any pool plays or
any plays?
Yeah.
We had a couple of weird zones. There was one forced middle one that I really liked. Basically, just trying to force the disc into really dangerous spaces in the middle of the field, and we had so many defensive threats. So many boys that loved leaving their feet, which is probably a bit of a staple of the Goannas throughout the years. So I'm not sure how much use it saw at Worlds, but I think in the lead up it was really effective for us. Probably one of the zones that worked pretty well. Lots of Ds from forcing throws through tight lanes and boys leaving their feet. So that was one that I really liked. Anything from you?
I think similar. That was the one that I was going to mention. I think it was like a 2-3-2 kind of zone, or a 2-4-1, like a very aggressive zone, which is always good. But I don't know. I just think the Goannas brand of matched offense is something that's always been a key part of their game, and being really athletic and putting in grunt work early in games has always been something that the Goannas are known for. And I think that was probably the thing that I loved the most, is just seeing the boys get out there firing early in games on defense and getting blocks, leaving their feet, getting up in the air. You got two D1 merchants here, so no offense players.
I guess that's kind of what I feel like we've seen so far with the lines that are kind of coming into fruition through that last tournament. We've also got some high risk zones and some grunty match that's taking advantage of some of the athletic players on the team. So it's good to see that kind of style might not have been lost through the change of Goannas.
Absolutely.
I just want to talk about, I guess, less so about the Frisbee and more about the campaign and kind of the friends you made. I understand that you guys obviously are now living together. We're at the crib, and
that's right. Come
all the way over from Western Australia. Luke, you've gone and visited WA.
Yep.
The friends that you've made, is that something that you'll keep for a lifetime? Do you want to talk about?
I think it's genuinely the most cliche thing ever, and we heard it heaps in the lead up to our campaign, and you guys have probably heard the same thing. It's the off-field memories are often the most memorable, they're the things that you remember the most. I could not tell you a specific play that I did for practically the entire tournament. I don't remember singular moments. It's more the bonding on the pre-tour, moments after games, mucking around in the pool doing recovery, just fun things that we did after the Frisbee was over. Absolutely, I've generated some lifelong friends. I'm now living with Frogs. We visited his family in WA over summer, and we catch up regularly as a group. I think that's really important. That's definitely been my favourite memory coming from that campaign, for sure.
I guess I'll throw it to you, Frogs, and say you've obviously now moved state. I think it's primarily because of your uni, but it was pretty easy to come and pick up a club team because you've got those connections already. How have you found being at Chile so far?
Well, Luke said it pretty well in terms of I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment. It certainly made the transition a lot easier. I don't think I would have had the confidence to come over here. It was a big decision for me, but one that ended up being a lot easier than I thought, with all the friends I have here, mainly being ex-Goannas. Like you said, I now live with one, which is pretty handy. And I think Chile's a pretty, in a lot of ways, pretty similar club to Sublime, and I've always found it easy to integrate into new teams as long as you bring energy and passion, which I guess was the same thing in the Goannas, being the one player from WA. It's been a lot of fun. It is. I do miss the boys over in Perth, but it's always a fun experience playing with a new team. And I was able to play with Frenchie and Luke, who I obviously played with the Goannas with, so it wasn't I didn't know anyone. And it's been nice. The boys have obviously been very welcoming, and it is nice to be around the club. It's a great environment. So
It's been good to have you here, and I'm sure even better once we get to nationals to have you. So we're going to play the flag game. We're going to have the flags flash on screen up here, and your 5 categories to choose are going to be highlights. So what type of highlights the team produces, their athleticism, their IQ, their defense, and their jerseys.
Okay, that's all on-field stuff.
Yeah. So you're looking to make, the ideal team going into Worlds.
Sure.
So we've got Italy. What do you want?
We'll go IQ for the Italians.
Beautiful. Moving on to the next country, Colombia.
Definitely jerseys.
Definitely jerseys.
100% jerseys.
Like the yellow.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
good
100%
take.
jerseys.
yeah.
Okay, is that the one to look to trade for while we're over there?
Absolutely. They had some fire kit last time. I couldn't get
did.
into the trackies. They're only little players, so...
Yeah, all right. Maybe not so good for
Trade
me.
trade merchant this bloke. Stay away after tournaments.
Next one we've got Great Britain.
GB. We'll take their defense. We'll take the GB's defense.
So you got IQ, defense, and jerseys going. Highlights and athleticism next.
Hope you've left yourself some good ones.
I want the Goannas next. Do we get the Goannas? Are they in this?
I
We get-
mean, they have to.
They
be,
are.
right?
They certainly are. We've got Ireland.
Got to go highlights.
Yeah.
There were some funny guys on that team.
There were.
That was also a good game against the Irish last time.
They had about a 6'8" bloke
Yeah,
on
he
their
was
team
massive.
last
He
time.
was massive.
Highlight machine.
Yeah.
Who we got next? Belgium.
I think athleticism actually
Athleticism.
probably
Yeah.
matches the way they play. Honestly.
actually
so
pretty good.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
They
Dark
also
horse last year.
had great kit, so could have.
Yeah, great campaign last time. Came second.
Pretty happy with those 5 though.
Yeah,
hey?
I like that.
That's
I
not
like
bad. Not
I'm
bad.
not
All
bad
right.
there.
Moving on to the off-field flag game. We've got 5 categories. We've got Scran, their beaches,
Okay.
their nightlife,
Yep.
their golf courses,
Golf courses.
and the tunes.
tunes. Scran, beaches, nightlife, golf courses, and tunes. Okay.
Alright.
Massive golf fan.
Well, we've got a couple almost scratch golfers on the team. Shout out Paddy Bethune. Shout out Dane, who just beat him the other day, and Noah Moss as well.
Do I get repeat countries, by the way? Or are they gone?
No, they're gone.
Oh, no.
So you've got Japan first.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Got to take the Scran from Japan.
Japan Scran.
100%. That's a very easy.
Any highlights? What's the favourite Scran go-to from Japan?
Oh, chicken katsu sushi or something like that. Yeah.
Yep, he's white.
Come
You got me.
Next we've got Australia.
Well, it's hard to go past the beaches, isn't it?
Oh, that's a
Maybe
lovely
not in
pick.
Melbourne.
Well-
maybe in WA.
Well, yeah, where I'm
Margaret
from, it's a
River,
little bit
Margaret
better.
River.
That's right, Margaret River.
New Zealand.
Probably golf courses,
Yeah,
I would
could be.
say.
Very similar, I
Yeah.
reckon.
Lovely
Yeah,
golf course.
we're on for a pretty good list here.
This is looking
that's
good.
3 bangers.
I'll go there for a holiday. I'll tell you that much.
Operator golf courses.
Bit of a
Switzerland. Tell you what, have you guys ever listened to Switzerland techno?
Can't say I can't.
I'm not usually a big techno fan, but I reckon they've got some
tunes.
pretty good techno, some dubstep. So I'm gonna go Swiss tunes.
Love the
Yeah.
Swiss tunes.
And last one we've got Canada.
Canada.
That's
nightlife.
alright.
Oh, I've never been to Canada. So
I've witnessed Canadian nightlife. Fantastic.
on the ski slopes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Okay.
fantastic.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Not unhappy with that actually.
I guess
pretty good.
the other parting thing about kind of holidays is post-tournament. We've got a lot of boys travelling. You guys obviously did some travel.
Yep.
After your tournament, not far away, Nottingham, Spain, access everything.
That's right.
Any recommendations for the goalies? Where's the go-to? One or
go
two
first?
places each?
Florence, Italy, definitely my number 1 destination. I will 100% be going back there one day. Beautiful scenery, great food, great people. Second was southern France, Nice. The beaches are absolutely stunning there. The water is like a Gatorade blue colour. I'd go back tomorrow, 100%.
Very good. Yeah, I got a couple of similar ones. Barcelona was my highlight.
Nice and close to Lograno.
Yes, yeah,
good.
met some great people in the hostels over there. I was only there for 3 or 4 nights, but it was just unreal. So many memories. Second one is also in Italy. I'm gonna go Vietri. Well, how do I even? Yeah, I don't know. One of the coastal towns on Italy, on the Amalfi
Anywhere
coast.
on the Italian coast.
Vietri sul Mare, I think, is the name of it. That place is beautiful. Anywhere on the Amalfi coast is
stunning.
worth
It's
going.
unbelievable.
Beautiful.
All sound nice and accessible from Lograno as well.
Just a short
So
flight.
that's
Just a short
right.
flight.
yeah, book your flights, boys. That's the place to go. Thanks for coming, guys. Any parting advice for the goalies going into the campaign? 2 months.
Also a great question.
It is a good question.
Parting comments. I don't know. Play hard. I think regardless of outcome, Australia's going to be proud of whatever comes out of this Goannas team. All we want to see is effort and intensity in the Goannas brand that everyone from Australia has come to know and love. Hard at the disc, leaving your feet, ruthless on offense. Stick it to some teams, yeah. It's time to go and just beat some of those big teams. I want to see beat the Belgians, the US. That'd be unbelievable.
Come on.
Got it in them.
Yep.
Got it in them.
You went in on-field, so I'll go off-field. Put yourself out there. Let yourself be vulnerable. Make long-lasting friendships that it's very possible and easy to do in a campaign like this. I certainly don't regret doing that. So, yeah, buy in properly to the team, and I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it that you won't regret.
Yeah, you heard it here. Work hard, make mates, and you might even have a house and a club to play out after the season.
Hey, yeah,
Work hard,
who knows?
Play hard, mate. Work hard, play hard.
Thank you guys for coming on. That's been the Goalies podcast. Thank you.